So before we talk about this classic album, yeah, I said classic album because it's, as we all know, nominated for how many Grammys? 5. Say 5. Make some noise for that. Also, Rolling Stone, #1 hip hop album of 2025. Make some noise for that. So before we get to this classic, I want to just understand, what was that conversation between the two of you? Because obviously you all went on a hiatus in 2010, but what was the conversation between the two of you before starting this journey for this classic?
You know, for me, it was something that I always wanted to do. I always wanted to do another Clipse album. You know, and I would, you know, I'd call my brother and be like, hey, yo, you know, we got some offers to do this Clipse album. And he'd be like, you know, I'd tell him like what it was worth or whatever, you know, or whatever. And he was like, nah, he wasn't with it. So it got to a point to where we started doing projects, and there was, I was doing a project, and Nigo from Bathe and Ape, he had put out a couple albums. And, you know, with that being the case, I took that as an opportunity to be like, yo, man, Nigo want a verse. Like, you got to give Nigo a verse. I mean, you know, he started out with us. And with that came a couple verses. And then I had a solo project. And I was like, man, I need a verse for my solo project. And the reception was so good, I would just like, you know, I just keep sending what they saying online. You know, just sending it over, never asking. And then, you know, it got to the point they were, you know, asking for shows and things like that. And, you know, eventually, man, it was just,
yeah,
I mean, you can
know,
take it.
No, I'm just saying it there were a few breadcrumbs, you know, going out to Wyoming, working with my brother, you know. We got to do Use This Gospel.
Right.
So if you was talking about Jesus, I was like, okay, this makes a little sense to me, you know.
Right.
So I got my feet wet with that. And you know, it was just like I got coaxed in of things that I felt like made sense. And yeah, we just got back together and you know, let God sort them out. Even the title.
So can we talk about the title, Let God Sort Them Out? How did you all land at that title?
Let God Sort Them Out. I think the full phrase is kill them all, let God sort them out. And if you know the Clipse, you know our whole discography has religious themes behind it, or religious sayings. And this was just one that was like, you know, let God sort them out just seemed very fitting. At the same time, it kept the competitive nature of what we look to do musically.
So I gotta say, because I've listened to this album, arguably one of my top played albums this year. So with much respect, I'm no easy customer.
Appreciate you,
know.
man.
It ain't just because of the hometown bias, but
thank you.
But I hear the intentionality when I listen to the album. Some people make great records, no disrespect, but some people make great bodies of work. This, to me, is an example of a great body of work. But at this stage in your career, what does cohesion look like when you think of sequence and the themes, the mixing? Shout out to who I want to make sure I love on the engineers. Manny, Pharrell, obviously, yes. Mike and Kevin were the mixing engineers on the project. So, yes. but I want to hear more about just that intentionality and just the planning and the cohesion and planning a record like this.
So what I will say is that, you know, like I mentioned earlier, we're still fans of the hip hop we grew up on, where they use just one producer, you know, and it was about cohesion, and the whole body of work told a story. We've always been like that, you know, with all of our albums, and this one no different. And to come back with Pharrell, and to make
shout out
sure,
to P, man, 757, you know, man, Pharrell. Yeah. Man, y'all can do better than that. Make some noise for Pharrell. Yeah.
Just to have him do the whole album top to bottom, it was just, you know, I feel like that was a wonderful way to come back the same way we stepped off.
We sound crazy.